Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Jenny Montgomery. This is October 1st, and we're starting today with Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Earlier this year, WJBF presented Whitney O'Connor with the Giving Your Best Award. Whitney, who is in her mid-30s, is a two-time breast cancer survivor. Whitney was first diagnosed at age 30 when she was a new bride. And what I found amazing is that while she was facing her own cancer journey, she decided to celebrate other women facing cancer. She took a very scary time and turned it into an opportunity to empower other women on their journeys and celebrate the Booby Queens. Booby Crowns are the signature design of the Booby Queen Company. It's a nonprofit that helps women celebrate themselves post-breast cancer treatment.
All these new problems, forced into medically induced menopause and all those things, and just trying to figure out how all that works. This was a hole in the breast cancer community. I was often the youngest person in the chemo room, and so it was hard for me to find friends that were around my age, and so I went to the internet and joined Facebook groups and online support groups, just trying to find women my age.
And that brings us to today's guest. Check out this picture. Does her crown look familiar? Rachel Chastain was only 35 years old when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. Rachel is with me here on the red couch today. Rachel, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You know, I know it's a lot to talk about, but I also know that especially in a unique situation when you're young, you want to help other women.
Yes.
You were diagnosed at 35 with breast cancer.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me your story.
So I actually found my first lump when I was 26. And so I had it imaged and mammogrammed, and then it came back as non-cancerous. So what they do is they tag that lump. That way for all future imaging, whoever's looking at it knows, okay, this has already been examined, it's non-cancerous. And so you're given the option, you can either leave it in, have elective surgery to have it removed. So I was someone that didn't want to go under the knife if I didn't have to.
Right,
so
right.
I just opted to leave it in. And then every few years I got updated imaging just to make sure everything was as it needed to be. And then the pandemic hit. So during the pandemic, I started noticing that I was having pain in my right breast. So I called Dr. McDonough at Piedmont, and he said, let's get some updated imaging. So I also have dense breast tissue, which makes a difference. So he scheduled for me to have a mammogram and to have an ultrasound immediately after that. So in June 2021, I walked in to get my mammogram, came out, was told that there was no detection of breast cancer, and then I walked into my ultrasound, and the ultrasound tech found it within 3 swipes.
Oh my gosh.
So my cancer.
Oh, what an emotional roller coaster for you.
It is. But, you know, I mean, that's why you have multiple ways to screen and detect.
Certainly.
Especially in younger women, you're more likely to have dense breast tissue due to like hormone changes. If you take any type of like birth control pills, anything like that can affect your breast tissue. So luckily, the ultrasound tech was able to find it, and my cancerous lump was actually sitting behind my non-cancerous lump.
So it was masking it.
It was masking it, but because it was putting pressure against it, that was the only way that I could feel it. It was actually pressing against the non-cancerous lump. So the non-cancerous lump actually ended up saving my life.
It did. That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah.
And then you eventually had I guess, chemo.
So I was stage 1.
Okay.
So I did not have to go through chemo or radiation because I opted to go with a double mastectomy instead of lumpectomy, which can be considered radical, but normally in a younger subset age group, your cancer can be more aggressive.
Yeah.
So I actually asked Dr. Cooper at Piedmont, I said, if I was your daughter, what would you tell her to do? And he said, I would tell you to have the double mastectomy.
Well, you know, it's interesting, and we hear a lot in the news now about AYA, which is adult and young adult medicine. And it's an important field because cancer in younger people, it's a unique set of challenges, different from older patients. And we are seeing more breast cancer diagnosed in younger women.
Yes, ma'am.
Now.
Yes, ma'am. So typically under that age 45 bracket, so like in the year 2024, over 300,000 women are going to be diagnosed with breast cancer in the United States. And right up underneath 10% of those 300,000 cases are going to be in AYA patients.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So what that means is these are women who are too young for the typical screenings that we get.
Correct.
So what advice do you have for this subset of women?
For anyone that is under the age bracket of 45 that is not getting a typical mammogram every single year, my suggestion is to do your own self breast checks. You can go on the Mayo Clinic, you can go on Know Your Lemons, you can go on Feel for Your Life, and they will show you how to do an actual self breast check. But you should do them regularly, once a month. Going to your primary care or your OB and getting, them to do a self check for you, once a year, it's not enough. Because at that time, I mean, you could have had lumps or
A lot
changes
could happen in 12 months.
In 12 months. And it is statistically shown that the earlier that you find it, your prognosis and your outcome is better. Your survival rate is better.
Well, we are looking forward to later this month, the Miracle Mile Walk.
Yes.
And I'm sure that at this point in your life, you are a big advocate of the Miracle Mile Walk.
Yes, ma'am. I've been walking it for over a decade now.
Have you really?
Yes,
so
ma'am.
Before
I was diagnosed,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah. Terrific, terrific. Well, I appreciate you sharing your story with us, Rachel.
Thank
and
you.
we'll look forward to seeing you at the Miracle Mile Walk.
Yes, ma'am.
Here's the information you need to know about that. The annual Miracle Mile Walk is coming up Saturday, October 19th at the Augusta Common from 8 a.m. till 11 a.m. The walk itself starts at 9. Now's the time to form teams, get sponsors, get your pink outfits, and even if you can't walk with us, you can help fight breast cancer by donating today.